Up next on the Marmy Rock Show, no stranger to the show, we have Jonny Hetherington on every chance we get. Jonny, of course, the vocalist of Art of Dying. And the reason I wanted to have him back on tonight is they have a new release out right now called Nevermore Acoustic. So, Jonny, welcome back to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Always a pleasure talking to you. I have so many great memories with you. Like, we interview a lot of bands, but, like, we've had so much fun with you, like, on Shiprock and other places. I remember running into you at Atlantic City, and so always good to have you on the show, dude.
Yeah, man, one of my only beach time interviews, I think, right on the sand.
Oh, what a great day that was. So, hey, let's talk about the new record. So, in 2016, you released the Nevermore EP. What inspired you guys to release the record acoustically?
We spent a lot of time on the road this year. One of those tours was an acoustic tour with Scott Stapp, formerly the singer for Creed. And, we just showed up with one guitar and a cajon and did 4-part harmonies on some stools every night, in sold-out theaters all across America. And the reaction was really quite something, It was just, we weren't really knowing what to expect, but I think the Creed fans were very new to Art of Dying, and many of them had never, been to one of our rock shows. So it went over extremely well. It was super well received, and we were inspired by the whole tour and playing that way every night. So we really wanted to capture that on a record for our fans that were there and our fans that couldn't make it.
Now, the one part that surprises me about what you just said was the one guitar. So I've seen you acoustic several times, but you could do the whole thing. It must have been almost like a cappella thing with the one guitar and the vocals.
That's exactly it, man. We like doing, us. We like singing and we like playing all the instruments, but sometimes it's just more impactful or more impacting to strip it down even further. Like one of my favorite Unplugged is, the Alice in Chains MTV Unplugged, where it's stripped down, but it's still a full band with a drum kit and a bass guitar and everything. So that's one way to do it. We've done it like that in the past, which is really great. But I think stripping it all the way back really lets the harmonies come out. And that's one of our favorite things is to sing together and harmonize.
I'll tell you what I'd love to hear, and if it ever happens, man, I'm going to remember the day I asked you. Have you ever thought about doing like a total a cappella version of a song? Absolutely. There's a couple breakdowns on the new record where we kind of touch on that, and hit towards it. In the song Nevermore, there's a few seconds of a cappella. And definitely, I'm actually working on something for our next rock record that's going to be an a cappella piece, so we'll see how that goes. That would be so cool to hear. I mean, I'm very excited about the possibilities. Now, hey, I always wondered this. When a band does an acoustic release, normally, I've been in the studio many times. You watch a guy like do the drum tracks, the guitar tracks, when they're doing a regular record. When you do an acoustic record, do you do them separately, or do you just play it acoustically as a whole band?
We still do it separately. Tavis and I kind of really sit down and go through the nuts and bolts of the record together. So a lot of the time I'm setting up the guys for their recordings with my vocal already done to a scratch guitar. And sometimes the scratch guitars stick around. Like if you listen to the fifth song on this record, Paradise, that is the scratch guitar, which for those of you that don't know, what that is. It's just like Tavis will play just once through, definitely not trying to perfect anything, just once through to a click so that I can sing to it. And usually those go in the trash, and you sit back down and really think about the guitar and get it really sounding sweet. But in this case, that song just calls for it. It calls for just the raw idea. And Tavis, he produced this record, so he was right away. He was like, I think I'm going to keep that scratch guitar because it just has something to it, that can't be reperformed.
That has to be fascinating to watch. Now, hey, I don't want to bring up anything negative here, but I know you guys were out in Vegas on the night of the Route 9/11 festival, and I just had Otherwise on, our friends from Vegas. Any reflections on that night? Where were you guys, and what was the night like out there?
Well, It was a crazy night, obviously. Before I say anything about our story, I just, so much, I guess, love is all I can say. I want to send out to anyone that was injured or any family that's dealing with, death in their circle and their families. Like, it's just a tragedy. I'm still just sick, just to even talk about it and think about it. But, we were there, and thank God we went to see our buddies in Apocalyptica that night. They were playing off the strip at the Hard Rock. So, I can't even imagine if they hadn't been in town, maybe we would have been over at that country show where everything happened. So I really, got to thank the Finnish cellists there for inviting us over to their show, and we really enjoyed ourselves and had no idea what was happening. So after their show, we went up to their dressing room and we were hanging with the guys, and one of the Apocalyptica guys came into the room and just said, "Guys, check this out." And he had his phone out, and he basically said, "Don't leave the casino. Don't even leave the dressing room. Let's stick together." And we at that point we didn't know what was going on, so we thought it was some sort of. The first thing I heard was that it was a terrorist attack, and that there was multiple gunmen all over Las Vegas shooting, and we just everyone. Yeah, and we just didn't know what to do. So we just obviously kept on our phones and kept on the news, and eventually realized that, kind of more what was unfolding, that it was looking like just a single thing. But it was freaky, man, and
John, not to interrupt, the thing that kills me about it is I have pictures of you and Kale and Tavis at that venue with us playing at the 48 Hours Festival, and I almost got chills listening to your voice talking about it being at that very venue. I assume you remember the 48 Hours Festival, and did you think back to it at all?
Absolutely. I think it was Kale that reminded me the next day that we played in that exact parking lot in Vegas, a couple years earlier, and that was the end of a long tour for us. We were out for like 2 months, and I remember, David Draymond from Disturbed was there, and I gave him a big hug as soon as our show was over, and I went directly to the airport and flew home. And it was like, that was the same parking lot. So it does freak you out, to think that this could happen to you, but it did happen to some people, and that's the tragedy, right? We were, we weren't affected directly, but there was definitely a lot of people. It was for Tavis's wedding, that's why we were all there. And a lot of people in the wedding party were locked down in hotels for the night. A friend of mine was locked down in a gift shop inside Mandalay Bay for like 5 hours, just her and one other person behind a locked door. People in our band actually had their door kicked in by by SWAT team at 3 a.m, searching rooms with like 4, like guns pulled, flashlights out.
Oh wow!
So that happened to Kale. His door was kicked in, and so there's a lot of controversy, obviously. And I took an Uber and walked back to Hooters where we were staying, and I'll never forget walking into Hooters. I had to jump a fence to get back in there, just because it was everything was locked down, and cops wouldn't let anyone go anywhere. So I had to just jump a fence and get into Hooters, and I ended up walking in there, and everyone was just camped out on the floors of the casino, so no one could get out of the casino or into their rooms. It was just it was like a bizarre, imagine walking into Hooters Casino and there's just people sleeping and camped out on the floors in their clothes, and just, bed sheets everywhere on the floors. And I was just walking through, and I felt like I was gliding, I didn't feel like I was even really there. And then I jumped in the elevator, and this guy, I just went up the elevator with a group of people to my room, and this guy had blood on his shirt, and I was like, dude, were you affected by what happened tonight? And he points at the side of his head, and he got nicked by a bullet.
Oh my gosh!
On the side of his head, and he was just processing. He said, "I'm just processing this right now. I don't even know what to do." And I just went to my room, and there's a little video on Facebook. I just, I was kind of drunk and kind of, that weird when there's a tragedy, you kind of just get super sober, even, no matter what state of affairs you're in. And I just kind of pointed my camera out the window and to kind of show what was going on. And I didn't really understand what was going on yet. And I was just happy to be safe in my room. And, it was just a horrible time, and, there's so much controversy now on what happened and, what's going on. And I'm trying to stay away from that and just focus on, sending positive vibes out to people. But, it's kind of strange that I think, definitely there was some, Hooters was definitely a secondary crime scene. Like, there were SWAT teams, and there was there was a lot of investigation going on within the hotel we were staying in that night. So it's pretty freaky.
On a happy note, man, you guys got off a tour not too long, I guess about 7-8 weeks ago, with one of my favorite live bands, Skillet. Tell me a little bit about that tour.
It was awesome, man. We actually went out with Skillet in 2011 on a thing called Avalanche Tour. So we got to know them a little bit on that tour, and just that they put on a great show. And, John and I did a little running together on that tour. We'd go for jogs and hang out a bit, and that was fun. So we got to know those guys. And it had been like 5 years since we'd seen each other, other than the odd festival. So it was just awesome to tour with those guys again. And I think it was one of their first tours in Canada. So we did, just Canada on this run. So it was just great to see good old friends and hang out, and great to see their show every night. And they drew a really great audience. So it was so fun to play,
Hey, so 2 more quick things. I mentioned it last time I talked to you, but I want you guys to plug this because it's a big deal. You've got something to do with the movie Hired Gun, and for people that don't know anything about it, tell them what that movie is and what you have to do with it.
Yeah, I wrote the theme song, and I sang and wrote the theme song for the movie, who was produced by my friend Jason Hook from Five Finger Death Punch. So, we kind of wrote that song together called Hired Gun. It's a funny story. We were on Shiprock together, and he had given me an advanced copy of the movie and just said, check out this film. So I watched it. It was really, really good. And then on Shiprock, I bumped into him, and he said, hey, man, I want you to write the theme song for this song, or for this movie. And I said, oh, you're kidding me. That's fucking great, man. So I went directly to my cabin. I had my guitar there, and I, wrote the bulk of the song with my feet kicked up over the balcony, and, as we're cruising down the ocean. And I told him the next day, I'm like, dude, I think I wrote most of it last night. I was so inspired. And he said, well, let's, cancel your flight home and let's come to Vegas and we'll finish it and record it. So we did just that, and this was before the movie was out and before it had won, awards and was everywhere. So we didn't really know if it was going to be a big deal or whatever. So, Hired Gun is a really great documentary on people in the music industry that are behind the scenes making music. And there's so many, just everyone's in this movie. Like from Alice Cooper to Pink to just like with these private stories of how their careers have gone. I'm just honored to be, I saw the credits roll by while my song's playing, and it's like, I think my name's like right by John Bon Jovi, it's like Jonny Hetherington and John Bon Jovi. I'm like, what a thrill, it's just cool.
That's awesome, man. So, hey, I'll never let you go without asking you about what's going on with Jonny Hetherington Essentials. So tell us what's up with the food line, man.
Yeah, man. I for those of you who don't know, I have a clean food company called Jonny Hetherington Essentials, and it's going gangbusters, man. It's just like we started it just as a little, way to make clean food for ourselves. Really nice hot sauces, and we kind of launched a secondary product called they're basically 3 different fresh tomato ketchups. So just trying to clean things up and give people healthy options on those products, and it's cool. So we just started small, and now it's getting really kind of the train's building some steam, and we're in stores all across the Northwest, but I guess Vancouver, British Columbia, Alberta. We're not really in the States yet, but you can still get it on our website. So just search my name, Jonny Hetherington Essentials, and you can order it. It's actually perfect for Christmas. So if anyone needs, you got that cousin or uncle that loves hot sauce, there you go.
Awesome, man. Well, Jonny Hetherington, good friend of the show, of course, the vocalist of Art of Dying. Their new record is out right now, Nevermore. It's the acoustic version of the 2016 album, Nevermore. So, Jonny, man, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I always appreciate talking to you, and say hi to your lady, and I'm sure we'll either be on a boat or on a beach or in a parking lot next to a stage sometime soon.